Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of That Green Thing. Uh, Today I'm at our summer camp here in Maine, and we've owned the camp for 60 years, and there's always tree and shrub pruning to do here. I like to do it to pass the idle time of my vacation time. What I need to look at today is we have some hemlock trees that were planted in front of this railing 60 years ago by my mother. They were just little whips, little seedlings she dug out of the woods, and we trimmed them and trimmed them for years and years. They want to be 120 feet tall. We're struggling to maintain them at about 10 or 12 feet. They're growing too high. I've topped them. Too much space away from our limited lawn areas. So I'll show you the tops, the sides, and the back sides, and I'll show you what I'm planning to do. Okay, here's the tops of the trees. Here's the surrounding area. But here's the tops of the trees in front of the deck. Ugly as sin. I might do a little deadwooding. And here's the sides. As you walk down the path, it's really encroaching. They used to just be a little ornament. Now they're like the main deal. This little area used to be 12 feet wide. Now it's barely 6 feet wide. There's the front. Pretty from the lake. And there's the overall front. And here's the deep dark backside. We have a tall deck out front. Amazing how it's so green and full on the front, and here's the back side. What I'm going to do is crawl along the bottom, elevate the branch level, and see if that makes a little difference. Just airing it out a bit. And then I'll shear the sides later in the summer, and hopefully it'll gain us a little more time like we always have through the years, but I won't cut them down as yet. We don't want to cut them down because that's the view you'll get from the lake. They're important. Let's see what happens. Okay folks, I did it. I did my pruning. I roughed it out. I'll do some more fine tuning tomorrow. It is vacation time, so I'm taking it easy. But I just cut off the low limbs, and the low limbs even have been there 60 years. In a few moments I'll show you I saved a couple so I can carve them, because a little stick 60 years old is kind of cool. So let me do a little panning here. I did a gentle elevation of a few of the low limbs. It exposed that ground underneath. I can rake that. I can trim it up a little bit more. And I think I've regained some real estate there. This stuff is subtle, mind you, but it's made a big difference here already, I can tell. You can see the lawn underneath, sunlight coming in. I think we'll get grasses and ferns growing, and I might even plant some new small hemlocks underneath. So when these do come down, the replacements will be there already. Yep. Good deal. Okay. back home. The vacation is over. I've showed the pruning of the hemlocks under the deck, and I took a little souvenir. I mentioned that the trees were planted 60 years ago, 55 years ago by my mother. I threw all of the brush into a pile, and then I thought, that wood is kind of special. Each limb on there is 60 years old. It's kind of like a bonsai tree. So I went, silly me, but I went into the brush pile and I took some of the larger pieces of the hemlock, figuring that you know how trees have annual growth rings. Well, since this limb was 60 years old, there's 60 growth rings in this little diameter of a stem. I think that's pretty cool. I think it's cool. You can almost sense that it's different than a normal stick that you would find on the ground. So I ended up with 5. Coincidentally, 5 of us are siblings in my family. So there's one for each of us, but I'll just bet at least 3 or 2 have no interest, but I don't care. I like them. And while we're on the subject of saving sticks, see this stick? I have a cactus. Let me pan over to my cactus. It's off to the right. Hold on. There you go. See that tall cactus there? I started that from a seed when I was 16 years old. I'm now 60 years old. So this stick is 60 years old, or whatever, 60 minus 16. It's unusual looking. It's got striations and little growth points. And what's more unusual, you can't tell from there, but it's strong. It reminds, of course, it grows in the desert. It's strong. It's like a small piece of steel. So that's another stick I saved. It has no use. It's just kind of cool. I throw it on my desk. Okay, enough of this adventure. I'll see you next time.